Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter. I don't know. Anybody knows what is the verse number? I didn't get time to.
Yes, can under be right. What verse?
It's Prabhu, it's was it 35, 22, and 23.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
The gopis sing of Krishna as he wanders in the forest. Text number 22 and 23. Okay, thank you. Will be responding to the chanting? No. Okay, fine. I'll just chant the verse and the translation and the purport. Vatsalo vraja gavam edagadro vandyamana sharane patiprade Krishna godanam upoya dinante Gita venurangedita kirtihi Utsavam shamaruchapi drishinam Unnayan kurarajas churitashra Titsayeti suvad ashisha esha Devaki jhatarapur udurajaha. Out of great affection for the cows of Vraja, Krishna became the lifter of Govardhan hill. At the end of the day, having rounded up all his own cows, he plays a song on his flute while exalted demigods standing along the path worship his lotus feet. And the cowherd boys accompany him, chant his glories. His garland is powdered by the dust raised by the cow's hooves, and his beauty, enhanced by his fatigue, creates an ecstatic festival for everyone's eyes. Eager to fulfill his friends' desires, Krishna is the moon arisen from the womb of Mother Yashoda. Purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Lesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. According to the Acharyas, at this point, the gopis climbed into the watchtowers of Vrindavan's houses, so they could see Krishna as soon as possible when he returned home. Mother Yashoda was very anxious for her son to come back, and therefore she had the tallest of the beautiful young gopis climb up to see when he would arrive. It is implied here that Krishna was somewhat delayed on the way home because his lotus feet were being worshipped by great demigods along the path. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Katanjana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam sya Shri Chaitanya namam. Hare Krishna. Once again, thank you for welcoming me and receiving me here at Bhakti Center and giving an opportunity to get purified. Yesterday was an ecstatic day for me. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We are reading one of the most beautiful sections of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Krishna's beauty is being described and the gopis are singing Krishna's glories. Actually, this entire 10th canto makes it very obvious for every Hare Krishna devotee that our unique gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us is Krishna. There's no need to beat around the bush. Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is the most wonderful personality. And if you see, not just in the Bhagavatam, if you see modern times also, in the non-Bhagavatam realm, Krishna is so attractive. Like, for example, last year, one video was very viral on WhatsApp. It was about a singing competition in India, South India, Kerala. And it was a non-devotee, it's a typical television contest. There is nothing to do with spirituality. 3 different contests, 3 different panel of judges, 3 different set of audiences, and 3 different set of participants competing. All children program. And in all the 3 contests, one of the participants was singing a very popular Malayalam language bhajan on Krishna, which ends on a very high pitch. The last 1 minute, the singer has to sing Krishna. I mean, I can't imitate that. Krishna, Krishna, like that, she has to sing, the singer has to sing for, I think 8 or 9 times, and then it goes to a crescendo, and then that's how it ends. I don't know if anyone has seen that video. It has 3 different contests, and the last clipping they have shown, it's a 2-minute video. So all the 3 participants who were singing Krishna bhajan, all young girls in the age group of 8 to 12, and one of them was a Muslim girl with a hijab. And they're singing, because it's a popular folk song on Krishna, and each of the participants who is not a Hare Krishna devotee, at the last 1 minute as they were singing Krishna, Krishna, their voice choked. Oh. And tears were gushing out of their eyes. It's not that their eyes were moist. Some of them were actually crying. And the judges had tears in their eyes, and the audience was like all moist-eyed, and everybody was prayerful. And I was watching it and laughing because I was feeling none of them are devotees. We not devotees in the sense we know as devotees. So then I realized, wow, Krishna is so attractive that even this is Namabha's chanting actually. Innocently, these girls are chanting. Innocently, they're chanting Krishna. This proves how Krishna is all attractive. And this is not the only incident, There's so many stories I get to hear every week. Like Keshav Maharaj was in Chowpatty last 2 weeks ago. He was telling the story of, he met a young boy in France, in Paris, was distributing books, the Muslim boy. And he showed him Bhagavad Gita, and he saw Krishna.
This morning, story.
Yeah. So that boy, the Muslim boy, sees Krishna's painting and he says, I know him. He's so attractive. What is his name? So then Keshav Maharaj says, he's Krishna. How do you know him? He says, I went to India, a remote place in India. Keshav Maharaj said, where did you go? So then he says, no, you wouldn't know. It's a very remote place. Keshav Maharaj said, no, you can try me. I may know. So then he said, it's in a place called Jaipur. And Radha Govindji, he had seen Radha Govinda and he was mesmerized, totally captivated. I remember also meeting one boy called Alex in Moscow when I had gone there. And I asked him, how did you become a devotee? He said, I went from Moscow to Goa. He said, the only place I knew in India was Goa. Goa is very famous for sense gratification and for its beaches. And he said, I went there with 2 of my friends and we enjoyed there for 1 week. And then we decided to go to Bombay because our return flight was from Bombay. So we decided to go by road from Goa to Bombay. And at one particular village we stopped. It was a Krishna temple there. And we got some Mahaprasad and we were so mesmerized by the Krishna deity and the chant. I said, which temple, which city, which town, which village? He doesn't remember anything. But he said that completely captivated my heart. And then I came back to Moscow for days together, for weeks. I was thinking, what was that experience? And then one day, one of my office colleagues gave me Bhagavad Gita, and I saw the same Krishna form in that Gita. And then I wanted to know more. I went online and I came to know there is a temple in Moscow. And in 3 days, he joined. And he'd been there for last 4 or 5 years. This is how Krishna is all attractive. In fact, Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Smeram Bangi Traya Parichitam Sachi Vistirna Drishtim Vamsi Nesto Darakishalayam Ujvalam Chandrakena Govindakhyam Hari Tanumiya Keshitirto Pakanthe Ma Prekshishthastava Sakhe Yadi Bandhu Sange Strirange. Very poetically, Rupa Goswami is writing about a conversation between two gopis. One gopi is telling another gopi, my dear friend, if you are attached to your family and friends, don't go to Keshi Ghat. Don't go on the bank of Yamuna at Keshi Ghat and don't see that threefold bending form. His name is Govinda. And once you get attracted to him, you'll be totally captivated. That's what happened to this Muslim boy in Paris. That's what happened to these girls. So basically, this gopi is saying, go to Keshi Ghat, but it's called Vyajastuti. It's a very poetic way of telling someone, come to Krishna. So this is how all attractive Krishna is. And the best part is Krishna is not attractive only to human beings, Hindus or Russians or American children. No, he's also all attractive to animals and birds. In fact, our His Holiness Srila Janananda Swami Maharaj, I met him in New Mayapur, France, 3 weeks ago. And he was speaking about, he written a book called Animals in Krishna Consciousness. How animals get attracted to Krishna. And he's convinced about it. And he's written a beautiful book with so many pastimes. Then I told him, Maharaj, if you write the next edition, I'll give you some stories also. I saw one dog at our Govardhan Eco Village. He's so spontaneously attracted to Mangalarati. Every Mangalarati he comes, and of course he doesn't enter, he knows the etiquette. So he's outside wagging his tail and looking at all the devotees who come. So we've named him Mangal because he comes from Mangalarati and we feed him a lot of prasadam. So I'm just saying how Krishna is all attracted. And this is Vrindavan mood. In Vrindavan, even the bumblebees, they're all constantly making a sound. They're hovering around Krishna. And Krishna is never irritated by them. I mean, like if somebody is always around me, I'll get irritated, The bumblebees are always hovering around Krishna. And Krishna is enjoying their company. In fact, the gopis, they don't get association of Krishna in the daytime. They're waiting for Krishna to come back from the forest and they're looking at the sun. When will you set? When will Krishna come back? And at night time, Krishna's covered boyfriends, they are feeling separation from Krishna. When will the sun rise and when will you go to Mother Yashoda's house and get Krishna and then go to the forest? So the boys don't get 24 hours of association of Krishna. The girls also don't. The gopis also don't get. But the bumblebees 24 hours hovering around Krishna. And Krishna is very pleased with their humming. And he finds it very sweet. Even when he's taking bath, the bees are hovering around him. For many of us, I remember when I joined the temple, but before joining the temple, one devotee was very much preaching to me. And I got attached to him. I thought, he'll give me time even after I joined the ashram. But when I moved in, he would avoid me. So initially, he had to run behind me to get me to KC. And when I came in, I had to run behind him to get his time. Because I now understand why, I empathize with him. We were just hounding him, always wanting his time and attention. So naturally, he wanted to avoid me. But Krishna is not like that. If we run to Krishna and we're always around Krishna, Krishna is not going to say, get lost. Krishna is going to embrace you. In fact, the bumblebees are still hovering around Krishna, but there are some animals, the Venugita explains, Dhanyasma mudagatayo pi harinya eta yanandanandanamupata vichitra vesham akarnya venuranitam saha Krishna sara pujam the durviretitam pranayavaloke. The one gopi is telling another gopi in the Venugita about how Krishna's fruit attracts all kinds of animals. So she gives the example of the deer. She says the deer, along with their wives, they all come to Krishna. And the deer, the female deer, they are so lucky their husbands don't stop them from going to see Krishna. Both of them, the male and the female deer, they come to Krishna. Krishna's fruit enchants them. And when they come in front of Krishna, they are unable to sing glories of Krishna, like like the other devotees. They are not able to sing poetry, songs. They are an animal species. And they're also not able to hum like the bees. So how do they express love? Yes. Pujam the durvirechitam pranayavaloke. Pujam, they worship Krishna by simply their eyes, just by looking at Krishna with great longing. And Krishna is totally satisfied. Isn't this amazing? Anyone can please Krishna. Anyone can come close to Krishna. And that's why mood of Vrindavan is where there is constant glorification of Krishna. Uttaya gopyo pararatra bhoge smritva yashoda sutta balakelim gayanti procher dadimantayantyo govinda damodara madhaveti. The gopis, as soon as they rise in the morning, smritva yashoda sutta, immediately they remember Krishna. Sutta balakelim and his childhood pastimes. And then loudly they sing, Gayanti procher dadimantayantyo. What do they sing? What do they say? Govinda damodara madhaveti. Govinda damodara madhaveti. Govinda damodara madhaveti. If you go to Vrindavan, this is a very popular version. I was at Radha Vallabh temple, and one elderly Brijvasi lady, she's singing, and I was surprised. She wasn't singing the Sanskrit. She had put Hindi words and the same meter, and it was ending with Govinda Damodara. She had what do you say? She had kind of changed it, and because it's easier to invest emotions in your local dialect. So maybe Sanskrit is too difficult for her, but the way she was singing, I was so captivated because the language, in Hindi she was singing, Krishna, when I'm going to die, I want to just remember your beautiful names, Govinda, Damodar, so like that. So you see, glorification of Krishna is what, it is a life and soul for all devotees. And whoever we are, with all our disqualifications, sometimes devotees go through this feeling of inadequacy, that I'm fallen, my anarthas trouble me, I have this, so devotees always live in the gap consciousness. I'm so far away from Krishna. That's true. We need to meditate on that. But we also need to see how Krishna is so kind and so wonderful. And despite all our disqualifications, he's always there ready to embrace you. And if you see, Bhagavatam contains detailed descriptions of Krishna's beauty. For us, it's easy to meditate on Krishna, easy to come to Krishna. In most of the Semitic religions, they don't have these kind of descriptions. And not only that, they present God to us as someone whose existence is centered around my needs, in the sense, God provide me my daily bread. So it's all about, see, we can't conceive in other religions, many paths. I won't say all, I have not studied those religions, so I have no authority to speak on them. But even in Hinduism, in most religions, God is presented as someone whose existence is centered on my needs. If he's not fulfilling my needs, what is he doing? He has to be doing my things, He has to be busy solving my problems. We can't conceive of a God who is not busy solving my problems. But Hare Krishna is exactly that. Srila Prabhupada presented Krishna to us as someone who, regardless of our situation, is enjoying with his devotees in the spiritual world. So this is a paradigm shift we need to make as devotees. We need to somehow move from the I space to Krishna space. I space is, I connect to God, but it's all about me. But Krishna space is, Krishna, I'm suffering, whatever, but you are wonderful. And regardless of what's happening in my life, I want to glorify you. When we make this is counterintuitive. Generally we think, I can connect to God when I have my problems. Yes, that's true. We also need to connect to God in a space beyond ourselves. That's when the magic happens. And if you see, all the prayers in Bhagavatam contain these 4 elements: praise of the Lord, thanking the Lord, begging forgiveness from Krishna, and then making a request. But all the prayers contain praise. When we come in front of Krishna, how many times do we actually praise the Lord? We actually begin with our request. But if we can make this shift, if we can begin our prayers, or even if not begin, even if at some point of time in the prayers, if you can somehow tell Krishna, generally we read the praise in the Bhagavatam, all the praise verses, praise shlokas, we chant them in third person. We say, the Brahmana Patnis, the wives of Brahmanas glorified Krishna as Krishna is the most wonderful person. Krishna is most attractive. Krishna is beyond the three modes. This is actually speaking about Krishna in third person. What we need to do is, as soon as we enter those section where Krishna is being praised, we need to pause and make those prayers in the first person. We need to put ourselves in the situation of the Brahmana wives or the Nagapatnis and say, Krishna, you are beyond the three modes. Krishna, you are most wonderful. Try this. And then you will see we are actually entering Krishna's space, because we are glorifying Krishna where there is nothing about me. Even in this world, when you want to make a relationship with someone and when you genuinely appreciate that person and speak good about that person, you see that there is a connection of the heart. And if you're only talking about myself, that doesn't happen. So Krishna is waiting for us to turn to him. And when we turn to him, like the Brahmana Patnis, the wives of Brahmanas, because I mentioned about them, I remembered, when they come with all their food for Krishna and they look at Krishna and Balaram, the Bhagavatam describes, Shamam Hiranya Paridim Vanamalya Barha Dhatu Pravala Natavesha Manu Vratam Se Vinyasta Hasta Itarena Dhunanam Abjam Karnot Palalaka Kapola Mukhabjahasam. Krishna was dressed like a fresh monsoon cloud. His complexion is like that. And he had yellowish, dazzling yellowish lightning garments. What a contrast. You just imagine Krishna is like that. Gurujan Prabhu says, no, you can't imagine. He says, wherever you see Krishna's beauty is described as Krishna is as beautiful as the full moon, you should know that's a very poor comparison. And then he said, when you actually go back to Krishna, you will tell Krishna, wow, Krishna, you are so beautiful. When I was in the material world, I only heard you are as beautiful as a full moon, as a lotus. And then Gurujan Prabhu said, in material world, something is advertised to be very beautiful, but the reality is far away from the advertisement. We overpromise and under-deliver. But when it comes to Krishna, there's an under-promise and over-delivery. Because we can't think of something more beautiful than a lotus or a full moon. So that's why these analogies are given to help us understand Krishna's beauty. But Krishna is far, far more beautiful. So his Shamam Hiranya, his black monsoon cloud complexion and dazzling lightning garments. Vanamalya Barha, he has a garland of forest flowers. And the best part is Dhatu Pravala Natavesh. So he's got all the minerals of Vrindavan on his body, dust of Vrindavan. And he's dancing and standing like an expert actor. And generally, if you see in India, most gods are presented as very static. Lord Ram also, But Krishna is described in the Bhagavatam, Vinyasta Hasta Itarena Dhunanam Abjam. He's put one hand on the shoulder of his friend, and Vinyasta, very dexterously, he takes a lotus flower and starts twirling it. What a beautiful sight, just imagining this. Karnot Palalaka Kapola. So he has put lily flowers tucked on his ears. Mukhabja Hasam, and he's got an enchanting smile. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that, when Keshi came and Krishna punched him, Krishna put his fist in Keshi's mouth and he killed Keshi. But as Krishna was doing that, Krishna was also simultaneously composing poetry and cracking jokes with his friends. And he was also casting loving glances on the other gopis. He was multitasking so beautifully. In fact, Rupa Goswami says one of the 64 qualities of Krishna is Chatur. Chatur means one who can do many things at the same time. We can't imitate Krishna. We can't be chanting and also checking our messages. We can't be doing multitasking. But Krishna does all of this, and that's how he enchants everyone. He attracts everyone. Now, having said this, one obvious question that arises in devotees' hearts is, how can I get attracted to Krishna the same way like the gopis? Or how can I have the same feelings, that excitement that Krishna is all attractive? So, in my humble opinion, it's all about consistent practices of devotional service that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And while committed to a path and consistently practicing them, we also need to invest our emotions. Somehow, Rupa Goswami says, Yena kena prakarena manah Krishna niveshaya. Somehow connect your mind to Krishna. And if we can't do that, then we can at least develop a curiosity. See, if enthusiasm is difficult, investing emotions is difficult, then at least we can develop a curiosity mindset. What is it in Krishna that's attracting so many devotees? I want to know more. Even I was hearing Prabhupada's class 3 days ago. Prabhupada says, so devotees can chant Hare Krishna whole day and they never feel tired. I said, really? Because I chant 16 rounds and so I was thinking, oh, Prabhupada is saying this. So I have two options now. One is I be a fanatic. No, Prabhupada is right. Prabhupada said it. So no questions asked. That's one option. And the other option is, well, Prabhupada says devotees can chant whole day. I can't chant. I'm so fallen. I might as well not chant because that's another extreme. But what I decided was, okay, let me switch on let me change the gear now, because this is profound. Devotees can chant the whole day and they don't feel tired, and Krishna is all attractive, really. So I switched on the curiosity mindset. Really? What is it in the holy names that a devotee can chant the whole day? What is Srila Prabhupada experiencing? When you ask this question, you become a jigyasu. You become qualified to come closer to Krishna. This is how Prince Siddhartha became Gautam Buddha. Because he was curious when he saw birth, death, old age, disease. You know the story of Buddha? He was a prince destined to be a king, but his parents stopped him from seeing miseries. And then one day he went on the outskirts of the kingdom and he saw death, disease, and these questions he asked. So we need to have this curiosity mindset. Children have this. For them, everything is possible. It's a possibility mindset. Constantly, like one of our Indian, very famous presidents of India, he was addressing a group of children. And one child asked him, who is the first scientist in the world? And the former president of India, Abdul Kalam, very spontaneously said, a child is the world's first scientist. And then he got a thunderous applause for that. Because a child spontaneously seeking. Because one child asked him, there is no river, there is no water in our deserted land in Rajasthan, but there's so much water in Brahmaputra. Why not just put that water here? So the president was thinking, how do I explain to the child that river is a state issue, but this is a central government problem, and we can't interfere in the state government's issues. But he's saying, I couldn't explain that to the child, because for the child, it's possible. The child is in the possibility mindset. As we get older, we become cynical. We think I can't experience Krishna, or Krishna is very far away from me. Once we develop a curiosity mindset, emotions will come. I have seen it. I'll tell you how. I used to always find this prayer of Kunti very difficult to understand. This which prayer I'm talking about? Maybe you can repeat this verse after me. Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyad apunar bhava darshanam. She's saying, Krishna, give me more and more troubles. Because when I get more and more troubles, I see you. And when I see you, I won't have to see birth and death again. I remember I was like, how can somebody pray like this? I can never pray like this. And I know some of you also will not dare to pray like this, because it's not easy. But we need to have a curiosity mindset. How can she pray like this? What is she experiencing, which is making her ask for more troubles? That's when our emotions will enter. I know some devotees who don't even memorize this verse. Because they feel, if I'm memorizing this verse and if I'm learning as I'm practicing it, what if Krishna hears me and says, Tathastu, so be it. You're trapped, right? Sorry, but all of you chanted just now. So, but a curiosity mindset will help us. I remember as I was meditating on this verse and I was discussing with different devotees, how can Kunti pray like this? And what an answer I got one of those days. And then that changed my perspective about how there was an orphan boy who was living in the slums of Mumbai, ghettos, suffering a lot. And one day while playing with his friends, he got a very serious injury on his knees. And he was rushed to a hospital nearby where there was an elderly lady, nurse in the hospital. She took care of him and showered so much love on him. And then after some days, he got cured and he went back to his hut where he was staying. And then one day he resumed playing with his friends. And as he was playing, some of the friends said, "Oh, we missed you so much. Now we are so happy you are back with us and we can play." And this boy kept looking at the direction of the hospital and smiling. So the friends asked him, what's wrong? He said, "I wish I get injured again." But the friend said, "Really? But that was a very bad injury." He said, "No, I wish I get injured again because when I was injured last time and I was taken to the hospital, this nurse, she took care of me so well. I had never known what is a love of a mother for a child. What does a child experience when the child gets mother's love? But she gave me so much love. I wish I get that injury again." Now, do you think the child was actually happy with the pain? No. But what he got in exchange of that pain was something overwhelming. It filled his heart with so much joy that he's willing to get that trouble again. That's exactly what Kunti Maharani was experiencing. When she was going through a difficult period, she experienced Krishna. She experienced Krishna's love. And that's why she is able to tell, "I want more and more difficulties again." So this is the mood in which devotees can experience Krishna. So to conclude what I've discussed today, we discussed about how Krishna reciprocates with not just Hindus or Indians, but even with people in Paris, Moscow, children, animals, deer, bumblebees. And if we want to also experience Krishna in our lives, we need to have a consistent practice of spiritual activities and invest emotions. And if you're struggling to invest emotions, we can cultivate a curiosity mindset, asking questions, how is this possible? How are devotees connecting to Krishna? And when we have an open mind and when we are in a mood of being a seeker, then we will be able to understand prayers like Kunti's prayers, where she's asking for more and more trouble in her lives. And like this, one day, Krishna will be a beautiful reality and we'll be able to find peace amidst the chaos of this material world. And although we all have to go through our purification, our suffering, no one can escape. For that, I always say, no one can avoid actually. No one is spared. I always say this. No one is spared. We all get our due. But if Krishna is there, then our life is meaningful, exciting, and we'll also feel inspired to contribute and give Krishna to others. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Any comments or questions? Hare Krishna. Corrections also. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
There's 23 people online to make a comment.
23 devotees. Okay.
Our understanding, you can correct if you like. My understanding is that Srila Prabhupada told us that Queen Kunti wasn't praying for calamities just to be because she's a masochist and looking for suffering, which is, if that's what it takes to help me to focus intensely on Krishna, then give me that, Yeah. So we do pray that prayer. We're not afraid that, whatever it takes, Krishna, bring me back to that total focus on how can I serve you? How can I please you? How can I not forget you? Right?
Thank you.
A beautiful class, extraordinary class. My goodness. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, glories to Prabhupada.
Yes.
Two things. One, thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Like, I was feeling like sitting here having this in-person class. We don't have so much in-person class except when I give the class, but it's like a very different experience sitting, hearing you give the class. And I just feel like this is just the perfection of life, just getting to sit and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And we want you to move here to Bhakti Center and stay with us always and give lots of class, please, please, please. we'll discuss. But I also appreciated what Adipurusha Prabhu just said, that Queen Kunti wasn't praying for like this, like to be like a masochist or something like that. She was praying like that because she said, like, whatever it takes, I want to know Krishna. And I just wanted to share two things. I also have had that experience in my life of praying. Like when I first came to Krishna consciousness, I had read The Journey Home, and Radhanath Swami in The Journey Home, he's making the prayer like no matter what it takes. So he wasn't specifically praying for suffering, but he was praying for like no matter what it takes, because you know what I need to take shelter of you. I want to experience that so I can come closer to you. So I made that prayer very sincerely, and then I got critically ill and almost died for 4 years. And I can genuinely say that during that time, although it was like the most intense physical suffering I've ever experienced, it worked. Krishna, I didn't think that was the way. I thought before that happened, I was sincere and coming closer to Krishna and meditating 8 hours a day and all of these things. But then when that happened, it was like, yeah, in that suffering, I felt so close to Krishna and experienced Krishna's love and presence so deeply. And I now in my life, I actually sometimes miss that, which sounds kind of crazy. You miss that. It's not that I want that suffering again, but that I sometimes miss that intensity of feeling that care from Krishna. And I meditate on this a lot, and I once heard from Ananda Vrindavan, the DC temple president. She was telling Vraj, the one who does the chanting workshops with Sachinanda Swami. Yes, Burijan Prabhu. She was telling Burijan Prabhu that I actually prefer being in America, because in Vrindavan, where she used to live, it's so easy to be Krishna conscious, but in America, it's very difficult. And Burijan Prabhu said, we should pray to Krishna that he doesn't need to give us difficulties to be Krishna conscious, that we can be Krishna conscious no matter what, whether it's difficult or easy. And that really stuck out to me. And so the prayer that I make now is I don't pray as intensely as I used to, but like I pray that may I not need suffering or difficulties to be Krishna conscious. May I feel the care of the nurse. May I feel that closeness to you. May I feel your love and love you, and be as intense in my bhajan and as intense in my desire to serve you when things are good, because if things are good, I can actually serve you better. And may I not need things to be bad to have that intensity. May I not become complacent when things are good.
I've always struggled to pray like this, that Krishna do what it takes to help me become intense. And I always knew that I need to pray like that, but I could never do that prayer. But now what you explained, Ananda and what you were saying, and then because I always felt we need some stability, we need some basic comfort. But the problem is, Maya gets us. As I was getting older, I got some facilities, but those facilities were given to me so that I can take shelter of Krishna better. But I would catch myself taking shelter of those facilities, forgetting that those facilities are given to take shelter of Krishna. So therefore, both need, we need to balance both. We need to know that Krishna is the best judge, and we need a certain comfort. And I'm so grateful for that last part. What do you say? So I'll pray to Krishna and for Krishna, I don't want to go through suffering, but I want to love you and I want to experience you in my life. So
There's an interesting synthesis. We remember that hearing in Prabhupada's memories, someone who saw Srila Prabhupada before he came to America. He was at Advaita Acharya's house. And this man said, I saw this elderly sannyasi, and he was in the back, and he was chanting, and he was crying. And it was such an intensity of his chanting. And he was crying out. And then I spoke to him. I said, what is it? He said, well, my guru asked me to go to the West. So taking the instruction of the spiritual master, like in the Kurukshetra moment, Arjun says, oh, okay, I get it. What do you want me to do? And when we have that Kurukshetra moment and the guru says, Prabhu Datta Desh, this is where I want you to go. This is who I want you to serve with. This is what I want you to do. With that, what does it say? Again, the Lord Rishabdev says to his friends, in the human form of life, it's appropriate to voluntarily accept austerities in the service of the Lord to purify our existence. So when we have the instruction of the Guru, the lotus feet of the spiritual master, the only way to obtain, when we have the instruction, we take that in our heart and we really want to do what he asks us to do, and we voluntarily accept whatever it takes to do that, then we brought difficulty on ourselves, but it's a burden of love. It's not a burden of the beast, which is just forced with the whip and the yoke. But we said, okay, Krishna, that's what my guru wants me to do. That's where he wants me to go. So it's very important to have guru or the representative guru who you are serving, who you are inquiring from, what do you want me to do? And to take that into the heart and voluntarily accept the difficulty of the responsibility to carry out that instruction. And it's not just, okay, I'll have people hit me or, burn my fingers or something so I can suffer. But the voluntary accepting Guru's instruction gives us that intensity of feeling of, yes, this will please Krishna if I can do what my Guru wants.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just briefly on that. And also Prabhupada said chant and be happy. Like he didn't say chant and suffer. So that's a direct instruction from Prabhupada, chant and
Happiness is Krishna.
yeah, our happiness
It's
is
a byproduct.
yeah.
Vladimir says, if I seek my own happiness, my distress begins.
Mm,
We don't seek happiness.
We
seek
seek
to please
Krishna's.
Krishna. And as we become satisfied, we're not seeking happiness. We're seeking to serve Krishna. And then happiness comes. Prahlad says, as soon as we begin our endeavor for happiness, our distress begins. That's how to be happy, not by directly seeking happiness. Yeah.
Just
When we're satisfied.
prayer came by what I heard Radhanath Swami once was explaining, like, oh Krishna, you know my heart, you know what's best for me. Please arrange things in the way that you will be happy.
I could share one point here. Sometimes prayers, when we are new, it's very difficult to pray, Krishna, I just want to please you, because we also have a lot of material desires. So I discovered, thanks to one of my mentors, he gave me a solution which has helped me ever since to balance between my desires and aligning my desires to Krishna's desires. And that example I would like to share. Do I have 1 minute to share that? Yeah.
Conscious go.
Okay.
Go quickly, go quickly.
Maybe later, because I
Yeah, we have afterglow.
Okay. So when I joined the temple, we used to have monthly exams on Bhagavad Gita, and I wanted to come first in those exams because I come from an academic background, and it was very competitive environment. So I thought if I get full marks, 100 out of 100 in the Bhagavad Gita exam, then I could prove that I am very good. I know it was a crazy desire, because in the Bhagavatam classes I would hear we have to be servant or servant, and I was serving the devotees in the ashram, but somewhere within I had this desire that I want to come first. I couldn't handle that conflict. So I went to my mentor and I asked him, what should I do? And he said, you should pray to Krishna that you want to come first in the exams. That's what Dhruv Maharaj prayed for. I said, but that's not pure devotional service. That's nonsense. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has not given us this proper. So then he said, okay. I didn't complete my answer. He said, you ask for what you want and then end your prayer with one line. Krishna, I am a fool. I don't know what to pray for. I'm asking for this because I really want to come first in the exams. But you are more intelligent than me. When I come next time in front of you, please give me the intelligence to pray for things that are really good for me. But right now, I want to come first in the exams. So that really helped me, to balance and harmonize both these needs. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Bhima Prabhu, get back to the van. For goodness sake, it's the darshan time. Yes, hats off. Yes, nice. Now we're talking.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna.
Naranandaji, thank you for chanting in our ears.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was not on mute. Sorry.
I like how fast Nandini Radhika is fanning Krishna. There's no nonsense there. He's just fanning. Intense mood. Thank you, Nandini Radhika. Thank you, Krishna. Okay, this was the class. I have one major takeaway. I'm a fool. But we cannot apply that externally. Against Bhima Prabhu cannot say Ananda Bihari is a fool. That applies internally only. And my most
No, I
common
concur. I concur.
Thank you. I always pray to Krishna, Krishna, please give me a brain. Give me a brain. That's my most common prayer. What's your most common prayer, Bhima Prabhu? Do you pray for brain?
I pray for heart.
Heart, nice, nice. Good.
Brains in the way.
Yeah, nice. Would anyone else like to share their most common prayer? Maybe one line. No? What do you pray for? Tell us. Hemangi definitely prays for her family, right?
I pray that may all of us be in bhakti at all times, and may we always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Nice. Thank you, Hemangi. I have that on my wedding ring. Always remember. And on my wife's ring, it says never forget, or vice versa. I'm not sure. Wonderful prayer. Thank you, Hemangi. Okay. What do you pray for, Sundaranandaji? You just pray, you just sing Hare Krishna, right?
Well, I'm usually stuck for words. I just say like, I don't know what to pray for. Just do what's right for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get
I
the
pray
right
for what's right for me. Nice. Sundaranandaji, nice. I pray for what's right for me. Good. Would anyone else like to share what they pray for? Poppy. Poppy prays for love, compassion, and patience for myself and everyone around me. Yes. We should be patient with ourselves too. Yep. Nice. Thank you, Poppy. Would anyone else like to share? Bruce Prabhu, what do you pray for? You don't have to turn the camera on. It's okay. It's probably driving. It's okay. We pray that Bruce Prabhu drives safely, always. And remember Krishna. Okay. With this, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your prayers, for your participation. Come again tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam never ends. Hare Krishna.